Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. My name is Aliwale Victoria Endurance. With me here is my partner.
My name is Ajayi Oyindamola.
Previously, we interviewed one of the lecturers in the prestigious university, Mr. Taiwo by name, and here again we are interviewing him to get more deeper knowledge about the skill he's teaching us. So over to you, sir.
All right, good morning, everybody, wherever you're watching me from. My name is Taiwo Olalusi, and I'm a lecturer in the Department of Performing and Film Arts. I'm the co-trainer of the skill instrumentation, sound, and acting for stage and screen. I'm in charge of instrumentation, and the reason why we are here is to grant the interview.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, can you give us an overview of this skill and its earning potentials? Like, how can someone make money from this skill?
Well, the skill is a skill that is within the entertainment industry, and as we know in Nigeria today, entertainment is selling big. Being an instrumentalist alone can hand you much money if you are good in your instrument. Most of the artists who go on shows, they play live band when they go on shows. It's just that when they record their music, they don't need live band. So if you are good on your instrument, you will have different social events that will warrant or will need your services. In Nigeria, there is not possible for us to go a week or a weekend without having any social ceremonies. And I have a couple of students who have gigs every weekend that they go for and they make some money. So the skill is actually, a very lucrative one to an extent if you are very good on your instruments, because that alone determines how much you are patronized.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Sir, another question is how much capital can a beginner or does a beginner need to start this business?
In this skill, you don't need a capital. The capital you need is your expertise. The capital you need is your expertise. You don't need any, it's not a skill of production and selling. It's a skill of rendering service, right? It's a skill of rendering service. So if somebody needs a keyboardist somewhere and you are sure of yourself, you are good enough, you go there and you play and you get your money. If somebody needs a saxophonist, you go there, you play, you get your money. So the capital is within you, what you have to offer as somebody who is a good instrumentalist. So that's just it.
So, like, how much can a professional make within 6 months on and a year?
Well, it depends. One, it depends on your how good you are. Two, it depends on your customer base. Because we have different levels. In fact, these days there are some instrumentalists that are not as good as others and are earning more. Let me give you an example. There's a gospel artist that we refer to as Laolu Benjo LG, right? He gets shows every now and then. In fact, as we speak, I think he's on tour outside Nigeria, And the last I heard is that if you want him to come with his band, you must have nothing less than 10 million naira.
That's interesting.
If a band leader is collecting 10 million naira, you can imagine how much, the band members are getting. So it depends on, your patronage. Number one, are you an individual instrumentalist or you belong to a group? How well are you called? What is your customer base? Do they actually know that you are very good to the extent that they call you regularly? Does your band have that marketability? Are you very good with what you do? Do they know you everywhere? for them to call you regularly. So these are the things that matters most. For instance, I was talking about Lalu just now. They actually don't rest. Who wants to rest while making money anyway? Every weekend, every now and then, Laulu Gbenjo and his band gets one show or the other, and they make money. I'm pretty sure that it is possible that the lowest earner in that band gets 100,000 per show. So if you get 100,000 every weekend, well, you can accumulate how much that will be in 6 months. So it depends on your customer base, how good you are. If you belong to a band that is thriving, that is regularly called, you will earn much more. So it depends.
So it is right to say the way you market yourself matters a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely.
To be aware of.
There is no okay. Let me say this. There is no much cost. Just like I said, the skill is about what you have to offer. Now the cost now comes in when you have a band, right? When you have a band. Now there are several bands around in Nigeria now, and there are two ways to it actually. You may have a band, a group of musicians that you are competent, you know your skills, you have been working together for a long time, but you don't have your own musical instruments. Which means that when you are called for a show, you rent instruments, with which you play with. And there is another side where you have a band and you have your full instruments. So it gets to a level where you go from the previous to, getting your instrument. As a new band, except if you are very rich as a startup, as you are starting up your band, except if you are very rich, that's when you will start your band with your own instrument, because to get a full instrument these days, you'll be spending at least 20 million. At least. So if you are starting up, you have to make do with having your own guys and renting your instruments for shows. Then later on, as you keep growing, making money, saving, then you begin to buy your instrument. So I think that's just about it. But having your instrument not having your instrument does not stop you from performing, because we have those who only have instruments that they just rent out. It's a business venture that people know that there are people who have their bands who don't have instruments. So you just get instruments for them. They give you their engineer, they set up for you. You perform, you go your way, and they go with their instruments. So that's the startup level. But by the time you get to a different level, a higher level, then you can now begin to get your instrument. Now Olugbenjo has his instruments now, and he started way back when he was just renting the instruments. So as he became better, as he began to grow, as he began to earn more with different shows, he was saving and was getting his instruments. So that's it.
That's very interesting, sir. So would you say, or would you say, having your own what's the concept? Staying on your own without having band, like performing on your own. You can perform very well. There are people who play different instruments. They play keyboard, guitar, name it. So do you think it's more profitable to stay on your own than to have many band members? Like the example you gave now, you said he has a lot of members. Imagine collecting 10 million naira and you have to split that 10 million naira. So what would you say?
Well, I think it's better you have your band if you will be the leader, right? It's better to have your band if you will be the leader. If I'm in love with a band and I collect 10 million, we know how Nigeria works. Let me give you an instance now. Most of these private schools that you are seeing, right, they collect huge school fees from their students, from their pupils. If you go there to interview their teachers, you find out that they are earning. As bad as it sounds, it is the owner who actually gains more. Do you understand?
Yes,
So
sir.
I may have a band as leader, collect 10 million. My band do not know how much I collect, except if the band leader is transparent enough to say, ah, we are going for this show, they pay 10 million. Okay, 3 million for my instruments, each of you get 200,000, the rest, as band leader. Do you understand? But most of the time, there's always secrecy when it comes to how much a band is being paid. It is only known to maybe the manager and the band leader. Do you understand? So it is better for you to have a band and be the band leader, such a way that you can have control over the money that comes in. And the reason why it is also better to have a band is because while you are performing live, you have people who will get, who will be enticed by your music. They will come, they will spray you extra cash apart from the one you are collecting. And sometimes it depends on how big a band is. Sometimes spray money can be as much as 3 million. Yes, can be as much as 3 million. You can imagine having spray money just 3 million to share amongst the band members. So it is better. Well, there are different ways with which you can be a solo artist, and that is more in the contemporary secular world. Do you understand? There's almost no gospel artist that does not have a band. Even secular artists, they have bands, quite right, but sometimes they can try to go solo. They just play their music and they sing along. Do you understand? But when it comes to Nigerian social ceremonies, we're talking about weddings, birthdays, burials, you can't go there and be singing as a solo artist. You need band members to play the instruments along with you. Right? So when it comes to being a solo artist, the very big ones, the established ones like Wizkid, Davido, like that, they earn a whole lot. They earn a whole lot, But when it comes to social ceremonies, it is good to have your own band as a leader. As a leader, that way you will earn more. You can save to get your instruments, and you can, grow better.
Okay, sir. Our viewers would like to know the challenges they faced. Being a leader, there's a saying, uneasy lies the head that wear the cap or the crown. So being a leader, it comes with a lot of challenges, a lot of problems. Sometimes they might even rent those instruments and it will develop one or two faults.
Definitely.
So they want to know how they were able, or how they are able, or how they have been able to curb these issues.
Now, as somebody who has been a band boy in the past, I remember before getting admission into the University of Ilorin back in 1996, 97 downwards, I was a band boy, and I have different experiences when it comes to performance. You see, there are different challenges that comes with having a band and going for shows. One of it is different spiritual attacks. Different spiritual attacks, especially if you're a gospel artist. There's always an angle of spiritual attack. Let me take for instance, there was a time we went to play in a very spiritual environment in Ondo State. I remember that we got there, we rented instruments there because we were traveling from Lagos. It is better to rent rather than taking instruments from Lagos. It is more cost effective. So we rented instruments in that community, and as we were singing, we just found out that speakers were blowing, poop, 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 poop. Voices cracking, different things happening. It was not comfortable, and we heard that there are spiritual forces there working against, Christendom, actually. So there are different challenges. Now, one of the challenges beyond spiritual, one of the challenges that you have is it is not easy to gather loyal and competent band boys. There's always the angle of money. That's why sometimes if you want to grow and to be better, don't start by depending too much on what comes. Offer your service. right? Even if it is possible for you to offer your services free of charge, so that you can grow. I think that's how I started. You know, I just approached the band leader and I said, I want to be a part of your band. I want to learn. So for a while, I was not being paid anything. Yes, some tips here and there for transport, but and it helped me. I grew, I became popular. People knew me, and like that. So it is difficult to get loyal and competent band members, especially when there are other bands there. And the thing about being a band boy is that you have connections with other instrumentalists. So you understand? So you may have a friend in another band that say, how much are they paying you? 10,000. They are paying us 100,000 in my band. Before you know it, they leave for money. You now begin to groom. And the thing about it is that as a band leader, when you have some selected number of instrumentalists, as rehearsal goes, you are grooming them. You are grooming them to your own taste, to your own style. By the time you finish grooming, and somebody feels, okay, I've arrived, I'm better now. There's another band that is there that I can play with more. And they go, you are back to square one. You have to start looking for another instrumentalist. That's why most bands usually have multiple instrumentalists where this person can play drums, can also play the keyboard. This person can play bass, can also play sax. So that when one goes, you are not left stranded. The other person can fill in, and at some point, some band have two instrumentalists to fill in for different instruments, two drummers, two saxophone, I remember Lalu Gbenjo was making a video and he was talking about the challenges he faced the first time he went on a tour in the US. Even before the show, two band members ran away because they felt we are already in US. I'm not going back to Nigeria. Before the show, two band members they just ran away. If not that he had other colleagues in the US that they could give him, other instrumentalists that would fill in the void. So that's another challenge. There's also a challenge of getting well paid. If you are a growing band, right, you have other competitors. So let's take for instance, you are starting, on 100,000, and they are pricing it to 50,000. But we saw somebody who is willing to collect 50,000. You just want to consider. You will try selling yourself that we are better, we are this, but by the time you start losing, so that's why you have to start on a particular level and make sure that per show you deliver. Now, one thing about this skill and the business of having a band is that you get shows from the present world. If you go to different ceremonies, you find out that at some point you may see guests going to meet the band. Where's your card? I need your card. So from one show, another one can come. In fact, 3 shows can come from the one you are, So if you are good enough, you will get shows that you can begin to, charge higher for. So that's it.
So in regards to that, what you just said, as a professional, it's one thing to be a professional in this field, and it's another thing to be known. How can one put, how can you put yourself out there as a professional so that you can be known and get gigs so that people can invite you?
Well, it still boils down to what I said. Prove yourself. Prove yourself. I'll still go back to Laolu Gbenjo. He did not start the way he is now, right? He started small. He began to infuse his own ideas, his own touch of excellence. And right now, he's already out there. So, getting known and getting called for shows depends on how good your band is. Excuse me. Depends on how good your band is. Are we going to call you for a show and have the best music ever? Are we going to call you for a show and our guests will be thrilled and will wonder, where did you get that band from? So you understand? Well, it comes with growing actually. That's why as a beginning band, the struggles will be there. As you grow, the struggles will be there. You need to do a lot of marketing. You talk to people, I can sing for your wedding. When is your daughter's wedding? Try me. Don't worry. Just get the instruments. We will come, we will sing. And from there, you can begin to, give us referrals. So you understand? So that's why most bands, as you grow, there are sacrifices that you take. Sacrifices of not collecting money at all, or maybe not collecting money enough to pay the band members. That's why I remember when we started band, there's something we used to refer to as for God, meaning there's no money. So our band leaders just call and say, we are going to play here, it's for God to. We are trying to sell ourselves, So by the time we played the few, we just realized that from one show, our guy will give out cards. People will come and collect cards, And the next week we will already have another show from that show. Depending on based on how people enjoy the band. It is not everybody that will like you as a band. No matter how good you are. There are still people who don't like Laolubedu. There are people who don't like Resitiwo. So you understand? But you will get your own customers from a pool of crowd. So you understand? So that's just it.
So, what are the common mistakes that people make trying to monetize this skill?
Well, the mistake that people make is first wanting to make quick money. People don't understand that there are levels. You can't just begin today and want to blow today. I want to make all the money today, right? You need to. There's a level of growth process of growth that you need to follow. I'll still refer to Laolubedu. Today is earning in millions when they call him. It did not sound like that, right? So if you want to be a successful band leader or a successful band boy, you need to look away at the financial gain from the beginning. It is when you now begin to grow that the money flows. Build yourself, build your expertise, build, your personnel. Then you now begin to earn. Another mistake, that some people make is greed. You understand? Especially when it comes to band shows. I'm very sure that Laolubedu pays his band boys well because they are doing with him for a while. In fact, I heard that all of them are mobile. If you want loyal band boys, you need to treat them well. You need to pay them well so that they can be yours, so that they won't be enticed by, And in fact, band leaders will learn to also find out how much is that band leader giving his members, how much is, so that you can level up. Because these days it is money that changes job. I'm sorry to say, if I get a lecturing job outside this country and I'll be paid $2,000, that's over $2 million, I would leave. Why? Because the money is better. So you understand? So that's just it.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for that insightful one. Sir, do you have any tips for maximizing profits while minimizing expenses?
Maximizing profits, minimizing expenses. When it comes to this skill, well, maximizing profit. Let me first start with limiting expenses. Limiting expenses comes with time, right? And one of the ways to limit your expenses is to have your own instruments. Because these days, if you have a band and you don't have the instrument, most of the money you collect goes into renting instruments. So you understand? Okay, let me see. Let's take for instance, there's a new band coming up, and within a learning, hardly can you get shows, let's say wedding ceremonies, of 500,000, except if the family that is calling you is rich enough. And as a new band, you're not likely to get that at the beginning. So let's say you get a show of 200,000, right? To get your instruments, you may need to spend half of that money. To rent instruments, you may need to spend half of that money. So if you have a band of 10 and you have collected 200,000 for a show, and you're renting instrument of 100,000, that means all you have to yourself and to your band boys is 100,000, right? So that way you have already gone with a lot of expenses on renting instruments. So as you begin to grow, you must make sure that you save. That's why I said, as a growing band, you look away at the money. Whatever penny you get, yes, take it. But your focus is to grow in a customer base, and to also grow by getting your instruments, so that your expenses can reduce. And having your instrument as a band even helps you charge more. It helps you charge better, because you tell them we are coming with our instruments, full instruments, But if you don't have your instrument, you will begin to negotiate with the thought of, we are renting instruments. For instance, now, a new band, if you are negotiating, you say, I'm going to buy instruments. We're going to get instruments. That 20,000 will not be enough. And there is always a band somewhere that will charge less. So you understand? There may be a band that has their instruments and say, we can collect 150. Why? He has already gotten his instrument. He is not renting instrument for anywhere. So now having your instrument, collecting 200,000, renting 100,000, having your instrument, collecting 150,000. We are not expending anyone. Maybe on fuel to fuel the generator, but it is better. So that's the way to limit expenses. Then maximizing profit. Yes, there's always profit in the business. Why? You are not producing anything, you are not selling. So it's not as if you are buying something to produce and to make money. What you are selling is within you. What you are selling is your talent, is your gift. So you are not buying anything. You are just offering service. You go there, you offer your service, you get your money. So it is always profitable. It is always profitable. You will always get something, no matter how small. So there is no loss. Now, maximizing profits now also depends on how much you charge. Laolubenjo is maximizing profits any day, anytime. I am sure that there are shows where him alone can go with 1 million, 2 million after settling all the bills. So you understand? He has grown to that level. I'm sure there was a point in time where he had to sacrifice that. Guys, please just go. And he doesn't have anything. That is very true. Why? He wants to sacrifice so that he can build his band and get to a level where he earns more. Now he earns more from the sacrifice of not earning enough in the past. So the profit is always being maximized when you grow with time.
So we can say that a priority in this skill is growth and sacrifice.
Yes, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Speaking about profit, how sustainable is this skill, like for a long-term source of income?
It is highly sustainable. Why? We are in an African setting where ceremonies does not stop. We give birth, we do birthdays, we do naming ceremony, we do housewarming, we do different ceremonies, and by God's grace we grow old and we die. Shall you understand? So there is always a need to celebrate whether the living or the dead in the African community. Shall you understand? So that is why, but the only disadvantage there is that bands are springing up. In Illinois now, I know of at least 100 bands. Shall you understand? So that's the disadvantage on its own. It now depends on how good you are and how much you have been able to amass enough customer base. Can people ask, can I ask 10 people of a credible band that can come for my performance and they will say, it is your band? Shall you understand? So that is just it. Build yourself to a level, grow to a level where you are in the lips of a good number of people when it comes to preference in band choice. If you do an online survey now and you ask, which band can I call for my grandma's burial? Christian bands, Lalugbendo will come up. I am very sure of that because he has grown to a level where he is known. He does gigs, he does shows, he posts content. You understand? You can just go to the studio with his band boys and say, Laolu Radio plays one and post. Everybody starts downloading. He's even making money from there too. And he's getting known. You understand? So it is like that.
So you know, a lot of people love quick money. They want to make it. How will I put it? They want to make it big. They want fast money. They don't want to go through stress. They don't like stress. So, sir, what can you say to those beginners who want to make big money? Like they don't want to go through the stress before making this money, and they wish to join big bands, but they don't want to go through that step. So, is there any fast way to make quick cash?
There are no fast ways to making quick cash. That's the truth. Except if it is illegal. Except you have to work. You have to put in the work. You have to go through the process. You just want to start and boom, you are in a big band. No, it's not possible. It's not possible. You must have gotten a level of, expertise. You must have gotten to a level where a big band leader will see and say, I like you. And that is rehearsal. Rehearsal. You must be good on your instrument. You must be exceptionally good on your instrument. And that means you have been putting in the work. You can't just start today as an instrumentalist, maybe as a keyboardist, and say you want to play in a big band. And they say, okay, come and play. You cannot play on all the keys. So you understand? So there are no fast ways to making money or to making it big. You have to put in the work at one point or the other. That's the truth.
Thank you, sir. So, apart from Laolu Benjo, what other successful people or band do we have in this?
There are. We have Daddy Justified. We have Tosin B. We have Bidemiola Oba. We have Babatumishe. We have Akpeke Ola. There are numerous. I think the reason why I've consistently used Laolu Benjo is because it's one of my favorites, and to a large extent, I think it's still the biggest for now. When it comes to shows in Nigeria. So that's that.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for your time.
You're welcome.
What advice do you have for young ones who want to make the quick money? They don't want to go through the stress.
Well,
And
okay.
sorry, sir. And these bands, leaders of those bands, what advice do you have for them?
Okay. Well, I would advise young instrumentalists who wants to, take it up as a profession to begin to put in the work. I will repeat, there is no fast lane to making quick money. Except you want to do ritual. Except you want to do ritual, that you do it and you get money the next day. There's no quick way. You have to begin to put in the work. And the one thing about this expertise is you have to rehearse consistently. You cannot do it today, leave it till next week, and still want to meet yourself the same level. No, you have to put in the work, every day or every other day, consistently, to the extent that you will get to a level where you will know, yes, I am already there. Then you can begin to attract, big shows as an individual, or attract big bands, as a very good band member. And my advice for band leaders is to not always look at the financial gain. Yes, you have to gain, but not so much at the expense of your band boys, because to keep loyal band members now, you need to, do them well. And that's why when you are bargaining, for shows, you need to consider how much you're going to be paying them. You know, there are some bands that they already have a structure, a percentage. Don't go beyond what you have agreed to pay. If you know that the show that is coming, those who agree with you, they don't have the capability to pay how much, the more amount that will be enough for you to pay your band members, don't collect it. There are lots of band members that they will just collect the show and later they go and tell the government, they are paying less. No, if you must collect a lesser amount, it will affect your own cut, not your band members' cut, because they are the ones serving you, right? And you are gaining more. So if at some point you gain lesser than them, then I think that's a sacrifice enough for you. So, and I also want to advise them to, continue to grow in their expertise so that they can attract more customer base.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your time. We
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So, to our viewers out there, to the young ones who want to own a band or want to join a band, there is no fast way to success. You have to rehearse daily. That's what our father here just told us, our professor in making just told us. There's no shortcut to success. You have to improve in yourself. There is a saying, practice make perfect.
So you should note that before you can be a leader, you have to first serve. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, please make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Bye.